Well, it's a Monday, but it's not a Monday morning. It is Monday afternoon. Forgive me for being late on my Be Still. I was up in the mountains seeing my family, and I had a long drive ahead of me this morning. So finally back home and ready for Be Still this morning, and I feel like I got a pretty good one to go off of. Definitely got a great verse, great passage, but the verse that I'm going to be covering today is one of my favorites, and certainly something that I remind myself of quite often. But before I get into that, let's talk about, in my opinion, the two different type of golfers that I kind of put golfers in two different categories, basically, is what I'm getting at. Golfer number one is just going to be your basic, everyday hobby golfer. What does that mean? If you have golf as a hobby, you're probably playing once a week, twice a week, or maybe you visit the golf course where you don't play twice a week, but you'll hit some golf balls once a week, you'll go play, things like that. I would even loop someone in there who is maybe has a membership at a golf club, or is maybe they play in club events, things like that. But they're doing it for the sport, for the fun of it, and all that. The other golfer I would put in a classification as a competitive golfer, or I would even say like a professional in some regard. But in that type of golfer is either a professional player trying to play, a touring professional, they're a club professional, so they do it as a profession. Golf is a profession for them. I would say golf is a profession for me. I play it, I manage the business aspects of it, I teach it as a professional, so certainly I would fit in that category. I would put college golfers, competitive amateur golfers who travel around to compete in that category. And I would put like elite juniors who are traveling, playing on some of the elite junior tours throughout the country, things like that. Anyone who is using the game of golf from a competitive aspect as a stepping stone to eventually one day play professionally. They're in a category together, and then you have your hobby golfers in a category together. And I want to talk about something that I think is really important in just a mindset of those golfers. Then I'm going to tie some scripture in there with it. If you're a hobby golfer, you need to just play the game, enjoy it for what it is, enjoy the difficulty of it, and enjoy the successes that you get from it when you hit one good shot around, or maybe multiple good shots, or you make a long putt, or, for those that hit a crazy shot that they're not expecting much and they get a hole in one out of it, whatever it is. Go play golf, have a good time, enjoy it, make the most of it, but don't take yourself seriously. Don't take the game seriously. You're not practicing and playing enough golf to be able to be good at it. If you luck into the fact that you're just a really talented athlete and you're pretty decent when you go out and play once a week or whatever, just pat yourself on the back. You're a rare breed. Enjoy those moments that you play well. When you don't play well, just say, oh, shucks, wasn't my day, and go home. But enjoy the game of golf. Don't have expectations. Just go out and make the most of it. Let it be a social event for you or whatever, but just have fun playing the game. And those players that are like that, who get angry on the golf course, are the worst to play golf with. They can suck the fun out of the game for you, for those who are around them. And at the end of the day, nobody really cares how you play golf. I mean, if you have a good round, sure, it might be a like point. But if you have a bad round, like, well, hey, Steve played real bad today. Yeah, that was hilarious. And onward you go. You're not really having any more conversation than that. Where it gets interesting, and where expectations and everything else really start to come into play, and the mental aspects and the frustration of the game really starts to come into play, is when you're in that other category, where you're a competitive golfer, where you're trying to, maybe you're not a professional yet, and you're using stepping stones of junior golf into high school golf or amateur golf into college golf and so on and so forth to launch you into professional career. That's where the game of golf can really start to get really, really interesting. So, and I use that as an example because when you get into that environment of golf, and the verse that I'm going to talk about today kind of plays into that a little bit, all of a sudden there is a level of selfishness that you have to keep working your way upward. And I don't mean selfishness in a stance of you got to be mean to people or things like that. What I mean is you're getting to a point that if you want to be successful, you have to start making a ton of sacrifices. You have to start sacrificing your time with friends. You got to start sacrificing time doing other things that may be somewhat important to you. You start sacrificing hobbies. You might sacrifice other sports that you play. I mean, there's a lot of different things that go into it. And you start to find that after you're making those sacrifices and the effort and energy that you have to put into it, it's taking up almost every single day of your life. When you hear the term, I eat, sleep, drink, golf, or a sport, or fill in the blank, whatever that is, those people are basically devoting the majority of their lives, the majority of their time every single day towards that sport or towards whatever that is. It could be your job or whatever. Is that necessary? I would say yes, it's very much necessary if you want to compete and be successful at a high level. But you got to be really, really careful. And here's why. And it tells us this in Matthew. And this is coming from the highest order. This is coming from Jesus himself. And he's talking about treasures in heaven in Matthew chapter 6. And I'm just going to go straight to verse 24. And this is the verse that I really want to talk about. And here he's talking about possessions. He's talking about money and different things. And I'm going to link this into something a little bit different. But it goes like this. In chapter 6, verse 24 of Matthew, it says, "No one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money." The very first part of that, I mean, all of it is unbelievably valuable, but how would I tie this into these two different type of golfers? Well, number one, if you're a hobby golfer, do not let a hobby start to dictate your life in such a way that it causes friction with other people around you. You're not getting paid to do it. It's not a profession for you. You have no ambition, nor talent, nor whatever to play professionally, to actually make money at it. So keep in mind, it's just a hobby. Don't ever let it get involved in your relationships or your time with your family and things like that. And look, I do this for a living, and it gets in the way. It's gotten in the way for me. I mean, this is a big sticking point for me in my life, and trying to juggle this profession that I have, and then making sure that I'm a good dad and I'm a good husband and things like that. So this is a real big one for me. So just keeping that in mind, you golf hobbyists, that keep the hobby part in there. It's really not what you're doing on the golf course is not relevant to life. It's relevant to you maybe having some fun for 3 or 4 hours out of the day, but it's not relevant to anything else that you're really doing. So again, just go play, have a good time, make it what it is. It's just a round of golf with buddies or whatever in a beautiful background that is the golf courses that we get to play every single day or once a week or whatever. Just enjoy that moment. Here's where it really hits the tire meets the road on the professional side of it. No one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. If you take that from terms of a point you want to be driven to play professionally or compete at the highest level of whatever that is, that's where I'm starting to talk about you're going to make sacrifices. Because if you really love the sport, or you really love the job, or you really love golf or whatever it is, and you want to compete at the highest level, you must make sacrifices. He tells you right here, you cannot serve two masters. You can't want to be the best at whatever you want to do and then also want to be the best at this down here. We would all love to do that, but there is no give and take. One is going to take more energy and effort than the other if you truly want to be good at it. So I hate to tell you this, but if you want to be unbelievable at the game of golf, or if you want to be a junior and win, if you want to be a junior and then get a college golf scholarship, if you want to be a college golf player and then win at that level, if you want to do that and then turn pro, the sacrifices are unmeasurable. You're going to have to sacrifice every single day. You're going to have to sacrifice tons of your time, tons of your energy, tons of your relationships, tons of your friendships to be able to get to that point. There's really not a lot of other ways of doing it. With that being said, here's what I would instruct you to do. And this is what I'm trying to do in my life, probably more so than ever. And I just heard this. I think it was a player at Arizona playing basketball was talking a little bit about this. And I ran across this on a feed. Here's what I would do. Because you can't serve two masters, and we know who the most important one is. And we need to serve him. So what I would tell you to do, whether it's your job, golf course, my profession at least, maybe something else that's passionate to you, for you, or that you're passionate about, your family. You can't serve them all and be good at all of them. So like for me, I want to be good at everything, and obviously I'm not good at that. So I'd much rather be a great Christian where God looks at me and says, well done, good, faithful servant. Or he was favored in God's eyes, like David, or something like that. I mean, that's the ultimate prize right there. I want to be a great husband to my wife. I want to be an exceptional dad to my kids. And then golf is on down that list. And it used to not always be that way. Golf was way up here. And God was somewhere in there. And that ain't right. Obviously, we know that. So I know I can't serve two masters, nor have I ever been able to do that. I can't be a great golfer and also be a great dad. I can't be a great golfer and also be a great husband, and vice versa, and all those things. So what I've got to do is I've got to take the most important one, the true master, because I can't serve two, and I got to pull him down instead of separating him and say, I got God here, and I got wife, family, kids, then golf or job or whatever that is. I'm going to pull him into all of it. I'm going to say, God, you are the central point of everything. I need you to be in my life. I need you to be in my family, in my wife, in my kids. I need you to be in my golf. I need you to be in my job. And if you are separate of all those, if I just keep them in little pods and God's up here at the top, but he's in a pod all to his own, I'm never going to see any fruit out of the rest of this stuff. I've got to have the Lord be a part of every aspect of it. And so, for all those who are trying to compete at a high level and do amazing things, I'm not saying you can't get there. You can work, and certainly you can get there. But if you're a faithful follower of Christ, you got to pull him into your golf. You got to pull him into the things that you're trying to do, because he's going to ultimately allow that to happen. It's up to him. No matter how hard you work, if I work, and that's not part of his plan, guess what? I'm never going to get there. And maybe that's why it didn't work out for me to go that route. But you've got to, instead of keeping him separate and trying to serve this master that is a sport, or this master that is a job, or this master that is this, and then say, okay, but I got God over here and I'm going to go to church on Sundays and all that. Bring them in together and start letting God, who's the ultimate master, influence these other things. And you'll start to see that he's gonna do some really cool things. And it might not be that you succeed in those areas. It might be that he shows you, hey, I got something even better for you. And you'll start to realize how important the things that he has in store for you far outweigh any little treasures that we have stored up here on earth. So again, you can't serve two masters. You're going to love one and you're going to hate the other. You're going to be devoted to one and you're going to serve that one, and you're going to despise the other, because the other one's going to pull you away from the one that you really like. So there's a conflict there. So what I say is, God is the master. Pull them into all of it, but keep him as the centerpiece. And you'll see how that stuff works out. Sorry I got long-winded, but it's one of my favorite verses that always keeps me well-grounded, is a constant reminder to me of who he is and what I'm trying to chase, and that I always need to be chasing him. And if I'm always chasing him, then how can anything go wrong? And if things aren't going quite right, he's going to give me the strength and the ability to go through it. So inject that into your everyday life of work, life balance. And I promise you, if Christ is the center of it, you can't go wrong. Hope you'll have a great week, and look forward to seeing you next week. Be still.
Swing away. Tomorrow's win begins today. Swing with faith, let your spirit fly. Drive it high to the open sky. With a smile and a heart that's strong, you can move mountains all day long. Swing with faith, let your worries fall. Every shot's just a brand new call. If you trust and believe inside, you'll find victory on the other side. Believe it, achieve it, just take